everyone, and welcome to an impromptu morning coffee. I wasn't going to do one today. I didn't have one scheduled, but you know what? It's Mother's Day, and I've had quite a few people ask me how I deal with Mother's Day, both as a grieving mom and also having lost my own mother. So I figured I would just hop on and kind of tell you what my Mother's Day is like. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions or anything, please feel free to drop those in the chat. Or if you're watching the replay, you can send me any questions that you want and I will make sure to get back to you. I don't have anyone here to ask what they are drinking today, but I am drinking my typical coffee. But actually my coffee is much better than normal because of what I did for Mother's Day. And I will explain why. So for Mother's Day this year, we actually celebrated yesterday. And my sons, Max and Grayson, and my ex-husband, David, they all got together and asked what I wanted to do. And I decided that I wanted to go to Gettysburg. I am a ridiculously large nerd. And so, yeah, that was what I wanted to do. It's not far. It's only about an hour and 10 minutes away from where I live. So we all hopped in the car and my boys got themselves out of bed pretty early. And we headed just for a day trip to Gettysburg. And it was nice. Max brought along his partner, Hazel. And it was just like a great family day. So, we started out with the battlefield. So I've been there like a ton of times. So it wasn't anything new for me, but the boys hadn't been there for a really long time since they were really little. So we went around to like the main parts of the battlefield, and it was a little wonky at first because I had downloaded this app on my phone that was supposed to like be an auto tour that drove you around the park, but we started at the wrong place. So the app was all messed up. So we ended up just kind of like going wherever I wanted to go and hopping out and exploring stuff. And I had fun like telling my kids the stories that I know from stuff that happened at the battlefield. So that was fun. Yeah, so we did that for like a couple hours. And after we were done in the battlefield part, then we went to go get something to eat. And that was the most interesting part of the day, because I had decided that the one thing that I really wanted to do was eat at this place called the Dobbin House Tavern. I had always heard about it, but I'd never actually eaten there. And it's like an old fashioned, it was built in 1776. And you can go and it still looks like it's 1776, and they dress up in period costumes and you have like candlelit tables and things like that. So I really wanted to do this, but they don't take reservations. So it's kind of like you put your name in and then you wait as long as you have to wait. So we put our name in. We decided to go for lunch, figuring that might be less crowded. And Max and Hazel had to leave early, so we couldn't stay for dinner. So put our names in. They said it would be about 45 minutes. So we went and did some shopping at some little shops around there. And then we went back. And then we sat and we sat and we sat and we waited for so long. It was at least an hour. It was over an hour that we had to wait before we could get a table. And there were 5 of us. And it turned out that the problem was that they didn't have anywhere big enough to seat all 5 people. And once we got down there, we understood once we were seated, because it is a small, it's like a legit tavern room. So it's really small, kind of like in a basement with stone walls. And it was super authentic and was like, that part was really cool. But yeah, that was a really long wait for lunch. But everybody liked their food. That was really good. And yeah, it was just nice to spend time with everybody, having a good meal. Once we left there, then we decided to walk to more of the shops around downtown. And there was one that I wanted to go to in particular, and it's called Kilwins. And you might have one, you might know it. They're in a lot of like tourist towns. So it's like a chocolate shop and they have ice cream or whatever. So I had been to Kilwins like a couple times in different locations, and they have this stuff there that is called drinking chocolate. And it's basically like just shaved chunks of chocolate, and you can use it to make hot chocolate. And I freaking love this stuff. And there isn't one, like that's the closest one to me, and it's an hour and 10 minutes away. So I never really get it unless I'm in a town where there's a Kilwins. I was like, you know what, for Mother's Day, like that was part of the reason I wanted to go to Gettysburg, was to get this drinking So yeah, I have it here. It is, if you're ever in a Kilwins, get the drinking chocolate. It's literally just like shaved chocolate, but it's how they used to make hot chocolate, like in the old days, old fashioned. So that is what is in my coffee this morning, a little extra chocolate flakes in there, and it makes it so good. So good. It's ridiculous. So I was super happy to get that. And then the other thing that they have at Kilwins is they have caramel apples. They have all different kinds. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it has sea salt on it. I love the chocolate sea salt caramel apples. So those were like my 2 gifts to myself for Mother's Day. Yeah, and then once we were done shopping at all the shops, then we came home and that was my Mother's Day. Gonna get to some comments here. So Jasmine, hi Jasmine. Jasmine saying happy Mother's Day, Miss Carlock. And say hi, Adeline, please. Do you want me to say hi to Adeline? If that's what you want, then hello, Adeline. So I hope any of you who are mothers, I'm sending you a happy Mother's Day. If you're a grieving mother, this day is rough. It just is. So like I said, I've had a lot of people asking how I deal with Mother's Day. And if I'm being honest, it's been different every single year. So I don't know if I have specific advice per se, because I've dealt with it differently every year. I feel like the first year after Libby died, Mother's Day was not that far away from when she died. So I was still sort of in like shock mode. And at the time, my mom was really, really sick with her cancer. So that was like completely overwhelming. So that first one was just awkward and terrible. And you just sort of have to endure it and know that it's going to suck. The second one, I can't even remember what I did, honestly. I don't remember what I did last year for Mother's Day. But I don't remember it being, it's kind of like what I do with any holidays. I just sort of anticipate that it's going to be terrible. And then if it is, it's like I knew it was going to be. And if it's not, then it's like, all right, it's not that bad. And then this year, I can tell you the thing that I did differently this year. It really sank into me this year with Mother's Day that I still have 2 kids. Like I still am a mother, and I love my sons to death. And I really just wanted to spend time with them. That even though they're out of the house, you know, they're grown, they don't live with me anymore. I really just wanted to spend that time with them as a mom, feeling like a mom. And it worked out really well. Like we had a great day yesterday. I absolutely loved spending that time with them, and it made my heart happy. Did I miss Libby? Absolutely. There was the one moment where I cried during the day. Well, there were 2, but the one was actually in Gettysburg. We went into a store and Libby collected like rocks and gemstones. And when I used to take her places, she would spend forever going through all of the little rocks, trying to decide exactly which one she wanted to buy and spend money on. And we went into a store that had all these little rocks and gemstones, and they had so many of them, and they were really cool. And that was where it just hit me. Like I just had this memory of her that was so strong, because I could just picture it. Like I could see her there looking through all of these stones. And I teared up there. And it was funny because like everybody kind of knew it. They could all see my eyes getting teary, and then they just kind of patted me on the back, and it was really nice. They were supportive. I think they understood. But that was pretty much it. It was just like, oh, like Libs would have loved this, and it sucks that she's not here. So that was a moment. But it was kind of the same thing where I just kept trying to tell myself, like, okay, be here for the kids that you still have, because I'm still mom to them. And they were doing their best to try to celebrate me and try to make me happy. And I did appreciate it. I was able to appreciate it this year. And that was really nice. The other moment I had was after the day was over. So I dropped everybody off. And then when I was coming out the door, there was a girl that looked really similar to Libby that was walking on the street while I was going to my car. And it hit me a little bit because I was having a moment of like, man, this was a really good day. And then I saw this little girl and I felt guilty. Like I felt guilty that I had had such a good day without Libby. And that made me feel like crap. So it was a moment of like, oh my gosh, am I like, is it wrong that I had this nice of a day with my sons when Libby couldn't be there to share it with me? And then I just had to like give myself a kick in the butt and be like, Brooke, you're being ridiculous. I've gotten much better. And I think that's one of the things you kind of build up over time as you're grieving is you can kind of look at yourself when you do dumb things like that and recognize like, yes, it's normal that I'm feeling this way, but like, don't focus on the crappy part, like focus on the good part. Like it's okay that you had a good day. Libby would have wanted me to have a good day. Libby would want me to be happy. I absolutely believe that. Would she have wanted to be there in that rock store? Of course, but she can't be, and that's not going to happen. She wouldn't begrudge me having a good day with my sons. She loved all of us. So it really didn't last that long. It was that moment of guilt. And then it was like, you know what? It's okay that I had a good day. So I hope that if you have other kids, that's one kind of piece of advice that I would offer is like, think about your other kids. Yes, it is about you because it's Mother's Day. And if you're a grieving mom, it's hard. It is really hard because obviously you're going to be thinking about the child that you lost. But also try to think about the kids that you still have because you are still their mom. And you still need to be there for them. And they still love you. And it's still your day for them. So try to keep that in mind. And I don't know if that's helpful for you or not. I know everyone's situation is different, but that's kind of how I got myself through the day. So Rachel says, happy Mom's Day. Happy Mom's Day to you too, Rachel. And she also says, I loved being my son's mom, but you're right. My 3 other kids and I will be there for them. My son that I lost would truly want that. Yes, Rachel, I agree. I think it's so important. I think so many grieving moms just kind of get lost, and dads get lost in their own sadness for what is not there. And sometimes tend to look over or not appreciate as much what they still have that is there. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It sucks. I say grief sucks constantly. It does. I wish we didn't have to deal with it this way, but that's just one way of thinking that has helped me kind of deal with it. Today, actual Mother's Day, because we did all this yesterday, is pretty much about me. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm going to be sad today, but that's normal. That's it's expected. Part of it is because I don't have Libby here, and I loved being her mom. And another part of it is I don't have a mom to celebrate either. It's weird when you've lost your mom. I lost my mom and my stepmom. We used to always do stuff for those people, and now they're not here. So it's very odd. It's a weird feeling not having anyone for me to celebrate. And it's kind of like an empty feeling. You definitely feel that loss, but yeah, I'm just doing me today. So I slept in pretty late, which is nice. And I cleaned up my house, which doesn't sound like fun, but if you know me, like that is nice for me. I love days like that where I can just putter around and organize, and I move some furniture around and put stuff into different containers and just like tidied up and threw things away I didn't need and pulled stuff out to donate and organized. And that for me is like calming, because then when I'm done with all that stuff, I can sit down and just, it's like, I can relax. Like I can breathe when my environment around me is like put together and calm. So that's what I'm doing today. And I'm going to be cooking some stuff as soon as I'm done with this. And I'm working on laundry and like nothing super fun, but it's relaxing for me. And then hopefully I'm going to get finished with like that type of stuff relatively early and then I'm just going to chill. So my plan is to read. I have a book that I need to finish, and I started watching Outlander again. So I'm going through and I'm still on season 1. So I might watch an episode of 2 of Outlander. And other than that, the only thing I might do is write. I think I've mentioned this before, but if I haven't, I've really picked up on writing a lot lately. I am writing a book series kind of for Libby and about Libby. She and I were obsessed. We used to watch Little House on the Prairie together, and that was like our thing. So we'd snuggle up and we'd watch that, pretty much every night. And I loved it. It was one of my favorite times of my day. So I am writing a book series called Libby's Frontier. And I'm also incorporating a ton of stuff into the writing that Libby loved. So we both loved Hamilton. We were like Hamilton obsessed. And that takes place during the Revolutionary War. So our frontier, the frontier in the story is Western New York, which was the frontier at the time of Revolutionary War. So some of the characters from Hamilton kind of pop in every now and then. And I just have scenes in the stories that I'm writing with things that Libby loved and like her little personality quirks and stuff. And I have had so much fun writing this story. I think I'm at 109 pages right now. And I have loved every single second of writing it. I love the history of it. I love researching the history and looking all the stuff up and making sure I'm getting everything like historically correct. I love that. I love doing that. Nerd, remember? Total nerd. And I love the writing of it. I love coming up with the dialogue, and it's almost like she's getting to do things that she never got to do. And while a lot of people will ask, like, isn't that hard? Isn't it hard? You would think it would be. And I kind of thought it would be, like, writing with her as a character, but I find myself smiling more than being sad. I'm just really, really enjoying the process. I love it. I would do it all day if I could, and I'll get going and get in the zone of writing, and then something will stop me and I'm like, oh, like I hate stopping. So I'm just really enjoying writing that book series, and it's going a lot faster than I thought it would. So the first one, I'm halfway through the first book, so I'm hoping that'll be finished this summer. And I'm just going to keep going. Libby had a poster, and I've talked about this before. She had created a poster that has different character traits for each day of the week. And every day of the week, she would concentrate on a different character trait and try to like exemplify that character. And that's just who she was. And the first one is productivity. So this first story kind of captures the idea of productivity. And then there's other ones like optimism and whatever. So each book in the series, there's going to be 7 total. And each book is going to focus on a different character trait as kind of like the moral of the story. And I'm just having a blast with it. I love it. I wish I could do that like full time, but doesn't work that way. So yeah, that's my day today. That's my Mother's Day. And that's pretty much it for this week. So this is going to be a short one. Like I said, I just wanted to hop on, and because I had quite a few people ask what I was doing, and I figured it would just be easier to kind of stream it out there and let everyone know what I'm doing, and know that I am sending anyone who's lost a mother, anyone who's lost a child, anyone who wants to be a mother and can't, there's so many different situations other than just the traditional Mother's Day, situation that we think of. And I see all of you, and I'm thinking about all of you, and just get through the day as best you can. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. You just survive. You do what you can. If you have other kids, focus on those kids. If you don't, focus on yourself. Take care of yourself. Do something that you want to do for you. Either that's distracting yourself by going out and doing something just so your mind is off of things, which is totally fine to do. You don't have to sit and wallow in your sadness. You can go do something. Go do something fun. Or if you just want to sit and wallow and curl up on your sofa with a blanket and watch Netflix, have at it. do whatever's going to make you feel good and don't feel bad about it at all. That's my Mother's Day advice. All right, I'm going to wrap up for today. Thanks for tuning in. Anyone who tuned in live, hello. And I want to send a shout out to my student, Emma, if she watches this, because she is in Florida competing in a cheerleading competition and they're doing awesome. And they're having their second round of competition coming up soon. So good luck to Emma and your team. And I'm sending everyone out there love and hugs. And if you have any questions or comments for me, please feel free to leave them below after I post this. And I will be back with you guys. This was an impromptu thing. I didn't have anything scheduled for today, but next week I do have another live stream morning coffee scheduled with Holly Gainsborough. She's been on the show before and she's coming back again to talk to us some more. So I'm looking forward to that. So I will see you guys next week at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.
We all know that grief can leave us feeling alone, unmotivated, and even hopeless. That's why I'm so proud to have partnered with HelpText to provide a full year of ongoing expert support to my subscribers. HelpText has individualized support for caregivers, people dealing with a difficult diagnosis, or grieving the loss of a loved one, pregnancy, or even a pet. You answer questions at sign up to get specific support just for you, including 2 texts per week and even extra texts on special or difficult days like birthdays or anniversaries. And the best part is, if you sign up using the site linked in my description, you'll get a 10% discount off of your subscription. Thank you so much to HelpText for offering this deal to my subscribers. When life gets hard, getting support from HelpText is easy.